Okay, let's roll back into our afternoon media sessions here at Chicagoland Speedway in anticipation of tomorrow night's running of the LifeLock.com 400. Joining us right now is Carl Edwards. He drives the number 99 Aflac Silver Ford for Roush Fenway. Carl currently in our point standings is 12th, searching for a victory this season. Carl, talk about, as we begin the second half of the 2010 campaign, talk about your mindset and what you're hoping to accomplish here until we get to Richmond.
Well, we had a pretty good practice session just a couple minutes ago, so you're right. We're searching for that victory. We'd love to get our first victory here. That'd be a great way to kick off the second half of the season. And what we need to do as a team is we've got to perform. We've got to perform over these next few races to secure our spot in the chase. As much progress as we feel like we've been making, and as hard as everyone's been working, in a way, it'd be for naught if we didn't make the chase. So we've got to work really hard on that, as well as working on winning the races. But I like the racetrack. It seems that the Goodyear tire is going to be pretty cool to race on tonight and tomorrow night. The way it's rubbering up the racetrack, I think the line's going to move around a lot. I think it's going to be a really dynamic race in that respect, and hopefully we can have a good run.
Okay, thank you, Carl. We'll take questions now for Carl Edwards. We'll start right over here. It's Rebecca, right? Is it Rebecca? What's your name? Jackie, I'm sorry. We'll start here with Dave, then Jackie.
Coleman, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Hey, Carl, that a couple of weeks ago up at Elkhart there, you won interesting trophy and a nice bike to go with it. I heard you might have some plans for the bike.
Yeah, what we're going to do with we won the race up there at Elkhart at Road America, and Harley Davidson was nice enough to donate a really neat motorcycle to the winner, and I made a deal with Lonnie Klaus before the race that if we won the race, we'd auction that bike off on Copart.com. And use the proceeds to go to Back-to-Back Ministries, and that'll help him with his orphanage that he's going to run in Mexico. So as much as I want to take that motorcycle home and ride it, I think it'll be really neat to see it go for auction and hopefully raise some money for Lonnie. So what we're going to do is we're going to auction that off, I think, in October. I think that's when the plan is, so we're going to have a little build up to it. That'll actually give me a little time to ride it, I think. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure to get some good photos of me on it or something, but I don't know if people want me to ride it or if that makes it worth more or less, probably less, but that's going to be pretty neat, pretty excited about that. It was really neat for Harley to donate that motorcycle. It's a neat motorcycle.
Next question, who has it? Over here, Lewis.
You're loud enough, you can just talk.
Hey, there you go. Minsky, but
yeah,
Louis Frankie, ESPN, the magazine, and Reuters. Carl, these tracks used to be Roush Fenway's bread and butter. Obviously these are different cars. What's missing?
That's a great question. But if you look at specifically how Casey ran in his Ford at Michigan, we're hoping that as a group we can all kind of go towards that and run well here, because I feel like there's some similarities. It's a little different than some of the other mile and a halves. It's more like maybe Michigan. So that's kind of what we're leaning on. But it's hard to just point to one thing and say this is what it is. We've got multiple engineers trying to figure out that exact question. But the proof's in the pudding. We've got to go out there and show that we can do it. But I think once we can kind of crest that hill, I think it'll be good. So hopefully we'll have a good run. Our practice times were as competitive as they've been at a mile and a half for as long as I can remember in race trim. So I've had a really good practice, and I feel good about our chances.
Jackie, we got a question back bar corner.
RacingToday.com. Carl, to kind of follow up on Lewis's question, next weekend is a rare weekend for the Sprint Cup Series, and there's a lot of talk about performance from Roush. Is that enough time to really get this thing turned around, just that one off weekend?
That's a really good question. I hadn't thought of it that way because I run the Nationwide Series, so for me it's kind of the same thing, but it allows our guys, especially coming off of a race like this, a mile and a half where, I feel like we have some ground to make up. It'll give us a chance to really go back, look at everything, look at the stuff we tried this week, whether it works or not, and it gives the guys, I think in a way kind of a much-needed break mentally as well. I don't think they need to work any harder. Our guys are working as hard as they can, but I did run into one of my crew members he's real excited about taking his family on a little vacation next weekend, and in a way, our guys need that too, so maybe it'll give everybody a chance to kind of walk away, come back, and look at things a little differently. I think that's important.
Jackie right here, and then we'll move over here. Let's go with Jim and then to this gentleman here.
Carl, last week Brian talked a little bit about making some changes, especially in the chase.
Yeah.
I guess, first of all, what are you hearing about what kinds of changes they might implement, and how do you feel about them, and how much is too much?
That's a great question. I think that's the question of the day, question of the year. I've heard everything. I've heard some wild stuff, which I'm sure you guys have too. I think it comes down to this question: do you want to crown a champion based on, do you want the champion to be the driver in the team that's performed best on average throughout the whole season? Or do you want a really dramatic final race? I mean, it's pretty much what do you want, Racing, I believe, is in a unique position in sports that after a weekend's race, everybody's ranked right there. It's not subjective. It's not, you don't have to go back and have a bunch of people vote on who's the best team this week or whatever. It's right there. Your finishing order is how you performed or how your result that week. So, to me, the true way to crown a champion is who finishes best on average throughout the whole season. I mean, that's it. Now, racing is complex. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, so it'd be nice to have a mulligan or two. I think that'd be okay. But I just see the potential. There is a potential, even now, to have a guy who wins 30 races in a season who's not the champion. How do you deal with that? I guess there's always that chance, but boy, you start going down that road. I don't know. It just seems. It just comes down to that question: do you want the best team and the best driver of the year, or do you want it to be dramatic?